Hey, y'all. Welcome to Cornbread and Roses. I'm your friendly neighborhood organizer, Austin, and I'm here tonight with Jason. And we got some other guests tonight. We got Alabama Progress, we got Pissed Off Bartender, and we got AlabamaFella. I'm telling you, it's a packed house, and we're so appreciative that we got some new folks coming in and saying hi, and they're going to talk about all the work they did to get the Democratic Senate forum. I think that's right. Forum going about 12, 13 days ago, which you can see on Alabama Fellas YouTube, which is in the comments. But yeah, and with that, we'll start with Alabama Progress. Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I'm Alex of Alabama Progress, and I am a Alabama organizer. Been doing this for about 20 years, and yeah, that's simply it. And on to the next.
Go ahead. You go. We going with Pissed Off Bartender tonight.
Yes, sir. I mean, my name's Andy. The internet knows me as Pissed Off Bartender. I'm just a good old Southern redneck from like the original meaning of the word back on Blair Mountain. I'm trying to do my best to get us back to that where we actually, take care of our fellow man and, remind folks that the guy in the suit up on the hill probably ain't got your best interest at heart.
Ain't that the truth? And then we got Alabama Fella here.
Yeah. Same kind of story. I mean, it ain't hard to realize that you need a change for progress when you come from nothing in Alabama. It ain't, and that's the connection between a lot of folks is I don't know why y'all are sucking hind tit on a government that ain't never done nothing for you. So we're here to put the red back in redneck.
That's right. Ain't that right? And I think, and Jason's here, of course. And we already got somebody in the comments talking. This is Uncle Warren Extra Bulla. Check out their channel. I went to Mississippi State and I'm somewhat familiar with North Alabama. Yeah. I think I remember you telling, or I remember seeing you say that on some of your shows. You got some southernness in you. That's for sure. So let's see here. We're going to start with some memes. We're going to go through multiple conspiracies of the week, but it'll be pretty tight. And then this week in socialist history. And then we're going to talk about the forum with the Democratic candidates, which I found I loved it. Y'all did a great job, and we'll get to that. Let's see here. All right. So let me start. And hey, y'all feel free to chime in whenever. This is, as we like to say around here, one of the only socialist podcasts in Alabama, and also the most unprofessional podcast in the land, maybe the known universe. Who the fuck knows? All right, we got this one from our lovely Jason. Actually, if you can't smash it, set it on fire.
That's good advice.
Rules to live by, really.
Here we go. You can't throw sandwiches at ICE agents. Grabs a hot dog. I guess we'll finally answer the old question. And so theory becomes praxis, philosophy inspires, and becomes science. Yes. And we'll have some more. We shouted out our autistic comrades last week with a little meme, and now we got our ADHD, that stuff this week. 2 ADHD moods. I can't do it. I can't stop doing it. The 2 types of ADHD time: now, not now. We're in now space officially. The 2 ADHD memory modes. I literally cannot recall the words that just came out of my mouth. Oh my God. So I did with that. And I can recite the opening paragraph of every single Magic Treehouse book. Yeah. I identify with all that so hard. Ice, don't bread on me. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was gold right there.
Yeah, we need the flags. We need these as flags. Our moron in chief, fucking, oh my god, pedophile in chief, technically. Trump before his meeting with Putin. We'll see what happens. If it's bad, if it's something I don't see a future in, I'm gone. I'll leave. Wait, I'm not doing my Trump impression. I'll go back to the United States. Newsflash. Alaska is part of the United States. Yeah. He thinks he went to Russia, apparently, still. Some more sandwich goodness. Subway. Ice approved our foot-long meatball parm. Yeah, if y'all aren't aware, got through a sandwich at Ice this week and was arrested, even though he said he'd turn himself in. They went and they had to, do it the old-fashioned way and just.
I do believe the judge did throw the case out on the grounds of y'all are doing too fucking much.
Oh man, ain't that the truth? Christy Nome just got doxxed today as well. So you reap what you sow.
Oh, Nome and Bondi are fixing to be the sacrificial lambs.
Yeah, but and he'll find people even less qualified, which makes his operation less functional and all the better for us.
Oh, absolutely.
We got claim the National Guard is being deployed to crack down on crime. False. The National Guard is being deployed to give Stephen Miller an erection.
I don't think that would do it.
I'm just surprised the Onion is still operational at this point. Like, reality has become far more sideways than anything they've ever put to print.
I think the next 4 years are going to be a meme by itself. Just an entire 4-year span meme.
Yeah, well,
we are meme times. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, it's still running because they know that the freedom of speech can't be trampled on to that degree. If the Onion wasn't as large as it was, like some of us, creators that are in this space, like they'll silence us without a lot of pushback. But something as big as the Onion's just not gonna. You know what I mean? They know that they can't clip that immediately.
I wasn't even talking about them getting silenced. I just meant, I don't know how you come up with more ridiculous shit than what's coming out of the White House every day.
It's
they're creatives.
When South Park is a documentary instead of sarcasm.
Like, I don't know what they are puffing pawn over there at the Onion offices, but I'm gonna need some of it to get through all this stress.
They're still
absolutely.
I saw one of their tweets the other day said Stephen Miller is excited about his baby's first 14 words.
Oh shit!
So they're still cranking out some good stuff.
God,
somebody needs to email the White House.
Let's see. I think the Onion is set to buy Alex Jones's InfoWars.
Oh yeah, were they going to buy it, sell it, and then give all the money to the families or something like that?
Judges keep there's a lawsuit involved, and judges keep getting involved in it. So first it went through, then it didn't go through, and there's been some back and forth on it.
You can't have a monopoly on fake news.
Palantir is your pal with Alex Karp as big brother. The funny thing about this guy, his parents were actually activists, and now he's in charge of the biggest private surveillance company in the world.
Not only that, but I know they like to on the nose name things. Can we talk about how on the nose Palantir is for a government surveillance program?
Hold up. I want to take this one right here as a lifelong Lord of the Rings fan. What Mr. Bartender said. this is so freakishly on the nose. Like, this is absolutely unnecessary. You know, the Seeing Stones, all seeing. There were 7 of them, as a matter of fact. I mean, we could go on and on, but the point is, it's that this is so far-reaching and like alludes to like systemic surveillance and data collection. Like, no, just no. Bring down the whole tower is what I say.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah,
found the Sauron Corporation. How's that sound?
There we go.
I'm also
Is it
pretty
gonna be a
sure
worker
he has
co-op?
another company that's like database like this that is also named after a Lord of the Rings thing that is also like incredibly on the nose.
Yeah, I think there's I think he's part of Anduril, which is there's this guy Floppy something, I can't remember, Slappy or some fucking guy. But they're like a drone surveillance company. I think he's part of that too.
There's a
and then there's
whatever
Palmer
the
Lucky, is it?
whatever the mountain
That's him.
region Smaug has his stash in. One of their crypto banks is named after that. I can't remember the name of it right this second because I actually don't like Tolkien. Don't kill me.
Erebor.
Progress. Erebor. Yeah, and they named their fucking crypto bank that, and I went, "You can't. You gotta be kidding me, right? You named it after the evil dragon horde."
If you put a generator on Tolkien's grave, you might be able to power some AI for a short period of time.
as he turns over endlessly. Extra
grave.
bullet says also, if someone to unalive Trump, then Peter Thiel becomes president. They're trying to give Peter Thiel, from what I understand, they're trying to give Peter Thiel DC. So this whole like and Trump ran on it, the freedom cities and all this stuff, like part of Curtis Yarvin's patchwork theory of techno feudalism. So yeah, look for Peter Thiel to be taking over DC here in the next 6 months, year. Yeah, Vance
Fascism
is
coming to a city near you very shortly.
no shit.
Yeah, he's mentioned wanting to replicate this in Oakland, Baltimore, New York City, Chicago, and somewhere else.
Day one, he said Baltimore and Chicago, we're coming for you next.
Yeah, wherever there's black people is basically the plan. First, you ain't gonna see them go out to fucking Idaho and shit like that. But and we got at least 300 guardsmen that are standing up for being in Alabama as one of the, I guess it'll be the Eastern Quick Reaction Force for any activities, protests, what have you, coming down the pipe. So I'm guessing they're going to be in Montgomery, but they're going to be on 24/7 duty for deployment within an hour. That's cool. That's cool.
I'm as someone who lives in the 205 area code, I expect to see them relatively shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Because Birmingham in general is majority black, and then all of its outskirts are incredibly Hispanic. So we are just his fucking wet dream of ice and everything else.
Mullah says, "Hi, I'm in Chicago. They've been bringing kryptonite to Chirac." Yeah, this isn't the 1930s, is what they seem to forget. And maybe the United States of the 1930s, they could get away with this, which they even didn't back then. But they're not getting away with it today. It's just going to be a slog for all us working class folks.
Oh, I would love to see a couple ICE agents roll down 17th Street South in Birmingham. They'll find out real quick why this is called First 48's favorite city.
Oh, excuse me. I need to quit smoking. His coming was foretold. Little guy right here. That's cute. I got to throw some cute ones in here. this week's trade offer from Trump. I don't know what his fucking accent is. I receive Eastern Ukraine. You receive. We are not about to launch all our attack on your house. Sincerely, the Z. That little Putin gremlin. Anybody ever had a gender reveal party? Because if I'm having one, I think that's the way to do it.
The fact that I know exactly what game that is and have done exactly that myself.
When that game came out, that was the first thing I did. First we speed ran the nuking. What was it? Was it? Oh, I can't remember the name of the city. Diamonds? Was it Diamond City? Or am I thinking of
in that one? That's Adam. Not Adam. Megaton.
Megaton. There we go.
Megaton in this one. Diamond City's in 4.
War and gender reveals never change. Yes. The payments processors restricting my Steam payments. Me switching back to Steam gift cards. Y'all don't know, they've destroyed about 17,000 games because of like between Steam and itch.io, basically because of there's queer content, which their cover is of course protecting the children, but really it's censorship. My lathe is a machine that turns. Shout out machinists out there. There's actually a machinist union meeting coming up in Huntsville, October 17th, 18th, and 19th. And I saw this and was reminded of that, and I just had to shout that out. Union power. But as we finish with the memes, the media, damn, that's crazy. Where are the Epstein files? Let us not forget, folks. Let us not forget, where are the Epstein files? I learned the night that he died, he actually called a woman in Belarus and said the trial is going to take a little longer than he thought, and he'll call her back in a month, and he loves her. So, Epstein didn't kill himself. That's the camp I'm in.
I'll tell you, me and these files are about to these files are about to cause me a fucking come apart. Because I want to see the files. You want to see the files. Every single fucking person here wants to see the files. But every single video you make about every horror that persists, a third of your comments are going to be, this is a distraction from the files. And I'm like, friends, if we cannot focus on more than one thing at once, we are absolutely fucked and we will never see those files.
Yeah, we got to walk and chew bubble gum, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Like, everything can't be a distraction, other than the fact that everything is a distraction because it's manufactured like that, so that you never, like, you don't have a chance to rest. You are just constantly bombarded by more shit.
Yeah,
he's always followed a flood the zone. Yeah, he's always followed a flood the zone strategy. Even in his first term, he did that.
Yeah, I think in the first term though is more like just his personality, and now it's like, this guy's perfect for it. Like he is now it's official policy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. DC Nazi bullshit is a distraction from the Epstein files. They're running into resistance. There's marches up in Alaska. As fascism rises, anti-fascism does as well. But with that, that's the memes and media of this week. And now we're going to run over some conspiracies. Normally we just do a conspiracy or an actual conspiracy theory. We're going to just hit some of the top ones in 2025 that people are talking about. And, here we go.
These. The crazier, the better.
Yeah. World War III was just a show. People believe that it was just choreographed events. It didn't really happen. And, to redirect public attention, consolidate global power, manipulate oil prices, which they do anyway. Like all these conspiracy theories, they're like just like on the verge of like reality, like
they're rooted in truth.
Yeah. Like all this stuff is happening. But it's like you don't need the conspiracy is that rich people are out to get you. That's all you need to know, and that's always been the truth, and that's what's going down. So and me personally, like, and they dropped almost $300 million in bombs in Iran, and didn't do shit. Didn't do shit. AI is already controlling governments. AI is quietly, see, again, yes, actually, kind of. The idea is the machine learning systems built for defense, finance, surveillance have become too powerful and now advising or even manipulating leaders without public knowledge. Like,
okay, but didn't they like all but prove some of these tariff numbers absolutely come from ChatGPT or a similar
exactly
learning-based AI?
You see what, like, some of these are like pretty old point, right? Like
I don't think Mother Brain is making the decisions, but they're definitely using chat. Even if like it's not the official thing to do, there are lazy ass people in powerful ass places that are just plugging numbers into Chat GPT and then crafting a report from it.
Exactly.
The Alabama Department of Corrections lawyers actually were using AI in their arguments, and of course it hallucinated and made up cases and stuff, and they're getting countersued for all that. But and I think this law firm somewhere around $25-40 million worth of charges in taxpayer money the past 4 or 5 years. So yeah, the great financial reset is underway. People convinced that global elites, including central banks, major hedge funds, and asset managers, are engineering a total reset of the financial system. The aim to collapse fiat currencies and usher in centralized digital economy controlled by entities like BlackRock or the IMF. Again, like all these things are so on point. Yeah, they want to control, like Peter Thiel and Musk, when they founded PayPal, one of the reasons why they did that was to sit there and try to destroy the current monetary system globally, like not just the petrodollar, but like all money's everywhere. And with the rise of crypto, and it's all in service of the rich. So these are so good. These are so good. And here we go. We got global weather manipulation. Claims that government or global organizations are using geoengineering technology to control the weather, cloud seeding, HARP, high frequency active auroral research program, and climate satellites are often named in these discussions. They're actually getting rid of our weather satellites and the weather forecasted system in general. And also, like, there is actually a company, they have an old aircraft carrier out in California that is working on like weather manipulation.
I mean, cloud seeding is a thing, but this is
Yeah.
usually where people lose me because it's like, do you understand what a heat map would do if you had something that was capable of producing like tsunamis or like hurricane level events? Like the amount of power needed to be generated alone would put every electricity heat map on the planet into panic overload.
Yeah. There's always logical flaws in all this. Like a lot of these, I mean, and like Bill Gates a few years ago was like, oh, we need to put reflective material up in the sky, you know. And I don't know about you, but I saw the Matrix, right? So there is like a want to control the weather and all this, but the development of the systems aren't where the conspiracy theorists think they are, right?
Yeah.
Just like you pointed out.
It's like, no, cloud seeding, absolutely possible. We should think about that. Now let's curve our imagination farther before we start causing harm to our credibility.
Yeah.
Right, and there are no Jewish space lasers that are controlling the weather.
And if your house is blue, it is not going to save it from setting itself on fire.
Wait, what?
You didn't know that?
No,
Let's
I didn't.
hear this one.
Oh, this is also the reason UN helmets are blue, friend.
Oh
What?
my God.
If you see a random, like, oh shit, some idiot painted their roof blue with a roll-on bucket, it's because they really believe Oprah's house and the other houses in Honolulu didn't catch fire because they're UN blue. And energy weapons don't set blue things on fire. At least the frequency that they're using for the space lasers.
Okay.
Because one blue
Beautiful.
trash can in Honolulu survived the fire.
Wow. See, I live for things like that. Just hook it straight to my veins. I love the conspiracy theory.
Like, for me, it's funny until I realize that the average motherfucker is only like one step on the stupidity scale away from being that person.
I'm not driving, I'm traveling. I love it all.
Oh yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to be empathetic for people and then sovereign citizens exist? Because we get lumped in with those dumb fucks.
Oh yeah.
Like, to your average right winger, there is no difference in us and a sob sit.
Yep.
Oh man.
That's the only time in history I've ever been like, officer, just punch his fucking window in, please. I'm tired of listening to this dumb shit.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos.
I commend their bravery.
Punching his window in, but goddamn it, somebody had to shut that dude up.
Yeah. Actually, I think there's somebody in my neighborhood with a sovereign citizen car tag. Pretty sure there is. But next, we got fake peace deals. They argue that major peace deals, especially brokered in the Middle East, are staged and meaningless. Kind of a claim the real motive is to gain access to resources, shift public sentiment ahead of elections, and hide deeper military agendas.
I mean, water's wet.
I mean,
I don't feel like that's a conspiracy theory. I feel like that's just politics.
Right.
The modern age.
Right.
Actually, that's probably just politics since politics.
Since Sumeria.
Yeah. What's that? The Peloponnesian War book. That's a good one to check out if you want to see how far we've evolved in politics. Crypto is being hijacked by governments, once seen as financial freedom. 2025 has brought suspicion that governments are covertly buying up major assets, creating controlled decentralization, and planning to issue their own state-approved coins to phase out independent platforms. Also, basically happening. I think Venezuela, Colombia has a crypto fund.
I think we have a large portion of Bitcoin, don't we?
Trump has been talking about creating a Bitcoin reserve. I did read that in the news recently.
Yeah, there is that. There's also
I definitely know there's like a couple European countries that I feel like have some Bitcoin.
Yeah, the Shamari Figures down. He was funded by Bitcoin Bros, who won the election down there in South Alabama. But there's also just the past 2 weeks, 401ks can now invest money into crypto, among other toxic assets. Yeah.
If I found out my boss was investing my 401k into crypto, you would hear about it on the news.
And finally, before we get to This Week in Socialism, aliens already made contact, fueled by whistleblower reports, leak footage. This is gaining traction. Some believe governments are preparing for disclosure, quote unquote, while others think alien technology has already been integrated into military and aerospace industries. Well, if Neuralink's any indication, the answer is no.
Makes your brain catch fire.
Yeah, how many?
Can I ask all of you a question when aliens are concerned?
Absolutely.
Please.
As long as it doesn't change the fact of whether or not you have to go to work tomorrow, do you give a flying fuck at this point?
No.
No.
And the light, all them lights up in New Jersey, like, no, I unless they're bringing Medicare for all, I ain't got no time for it.
I feel like that's the greater public sentiment because like right before the election, I don't know if y'all remember this, but they hit us with aliens were real. And that was 12 seconds of fucking cool. Do I have to go to work tomorrow or not? Because if the answer is yes, like, I don't care.
Bingo.
Yeah, what's the difference?
It lasted 12 seconds on the internet, and that just don't happen.
Right. With like, hey, there's this weird stuff that we have no idea what it is. Here's some video.
And nobody cared.
And it fell right off the news. It fell right off the news. The news.
TikTok trends lasted longer than people giving a fuck about the actual government actually confirming alien life.
Tells you all you need to know.
When 70% of the country is paycheck to paycheck, they ain't gonna give a shit about much. So, well, and with that, folks, we are on to This Week in Socialist History. I messed up last week because I don't know how to read. I did the 1.2 million worker strike in South Korea, the Great Worker Struggle, and we talked a little bit about that. But we're starting today on the 18th. Steve Biko, South African anti-apartheid activist, arrested. Now, this gentleman, I hope I'm saying that right, Biko.
I think it's Biko.
Was Biko? Thank you. I knew I was doing it wrong. Also, donate to Wikipedia. They're incredible. One of their founders is actually from Alabama. Roll Tide, all that good stuff. But he was an African nationalist, a socialist. Worked on the Black consciousness movement. I like his little pseudonym that he published under, Frank Talk. That sounds like, I don't know. It sounds like a MC name, kind of. But raised in, I'm going to mess up this word, Zosa, in a poor Zosa family.
The XH is a click.
Oh, shit.
Osa.
Probably fucked that up.
It's a lateral click, like when you're calling an animal. Osa.
Osa. Okay, I can do that. All right. Grew up in South Africa during apartheid. Studied medicine at the University of Natal. Tried to work with white liberals, and guess what he found out? They kind of sucked. And believe that the well-intentioned white liberals failed to comprehend the Black experience and often acted in a paternalistic manner. Surprise, surprise. Develop a view that white domination, to avoid white domination, Black people had to organize independently. And my favorite little part, he was influenced by the Martinician philosopher Frantz Fanon. If you get a chance to read him, I suggest you do. And the American Black Power movement. But he is the one who coined the term Black is beautiful. So if you're ever wondering where that came from, it was this gentleman. And following his arrest in August 77, Biko was beaten to death by state security officers. Over 20,000 people attended his funeral. Uh-oh.
I have a book of his speeches somewhere in my house. He was a very powerful orator.
Yeah. So, did you get that one from your grandparents?
Probably.
And there's a movie, Cry Freedom, from '87. Richard Attenborough produced, basically about his life. So check that out. Also known as the father of Black consciousness. Next, we got the Little Red Songbook. On the 19th, the Little Red Songbook was published in 1909. It's a self-declared collection of songs related to international trade union and the industrial workers of the world. First published in 1909. Self-declared purpose is to fan the flames of discontent and build support for the union labor movement as a whole. And it features old songs and hymns with new lyrics, along with music written expressly for the labor movement. It was last published in 2010. I would love to get a copy of this personally. It's got songs by Joe Hill, Henry McClintock, Ralph Chaplin, T-Bone Slim, and others. And some of the songs featured Red Flag, The Internationale, The Preacher and the Slave, and Solidarity Forever, which was sung at the end of the... Jeff, did you sing that the other day at the DSA convention?
I did not.
You did,
I did not.
Oh, man.
No, I did
heard
not.
it was...
I was there, but I wasn't. I'm not the best. I can carry a lot, but a tune ain't one of them.
Yeah, I have the same problem.
Well, your voice says otherwise. But in there, 120 songs, so many. Alas Barricades, on and on. Solidarity Forever. The tunes they sung them to. Onward Christian Soldiers. Of course, and then where is it? There we go. Solidarity Forever, sung to the tune of John Brown's Body. Both bangers, as the kids say. And yeah, so check those out. Sing some songs. If you can't sing, clap, stomp, hey, do some of that too. Next, on August 20th, Stalinist agents assassinate Trotsky in Mexico, 1940. So yeah, Trotsky, very storied career, a key figure in the 1905 revolution, the October Revolution of 1917, the Russian Civil War, establishment of the Soviet Union, exile. This man was exiled and imprisoned and escaped. Like, is there a movie about him? Because it would be an action adventure hit. Worked with Lenin until his death as a Marxist and a Leninist, but inspired a Marxist school known as Trotskyism. Joined the Russian Social Democratic Labor Party in 1898, arrested and exiled to Siberia, escaped to London. He initially sided with the Mensheviks against Lenin's Bolsheviks in 1903. Declared himself non-factional in 1904. During the 05 revolution, chairman of the St. Petersburg Soviet, again exiled to Siberia, escaped again in 1907. After the February Revolution, joined the Bolsheviks and chairman of the Petrograd Soviet. Helped lead the October Revolution, and People's Commissar for Foreign Affairs negotiated the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk by Russia, withdrew from World War I, served as the People's Commissar for Military Affairs from 1918 to 1925, during which he built the Red Army and led it to victory in the Civil War. On and on. But yeah, split from Stalin. And of course, Jay, check out this sentence. He argued that the Soviet Union had become a degenerated worker state.
Oh man.
I'm going to argue it's a devolved worker state.
So years ago, I went to a socialist conference in Chicago, and these two people that were at this conference nearly came to blows over whether or not the Soviet Union was a degenerated worker state or a devolved worker state. And apparently these terms mean different things, and they were absolutely just animated about it. Like, people had to intervene and get between these two people who were arguing about degenerated versus devolved worker states. And I was like, what am I doing here? Why did I come to this? Why did I drive 12 hours to listen to this kind of talking?
Leftist infighting at its best.
I wanted.
Go ahead.
While we got the mic right quick, I just want to say that leftist infighting is definitely a big deal. So I preached a lot of that at the DSA convention, that we can argue about semantics, but revolutionary is necessary. So that being the case, it doesn't matter about the exact path forward. We just need to have a path forward. So we can't argue about the steps to take. We have to be taking steps.
Yep.
Because they fucking are. They are every day. And they're lockstep.
You know, we can argue about the type of and the this and that, but what we need to be doing is season, because they're sure as fuck season. You know?
Yeah.
They don't rest and they don't argue.
Uh-huh.
They do the
I'm
shit
a big
and argue
believer.
about it once it clears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in attacking on all fronts. So, yeah. And with that, he, after being sentenced to death in absentia at the Moscow show trials in 1936, he was assassinated in 1940 in Mexico City by Ramon Mercader, a Stalinist agent. On the 21st, Nat Turner Rebellion, slave uprising in Virginia in 1831. I showed this to my little girl the other day. I asked, you know who he is? She's like, no. I'm like, well, check him out. It's led by Nat Turner. The rebels made up of enslaved African Americans killed between 55 and 65 white people. Should say white slavers, to be fair.
They damn sure weren't people.
Yeah, making it the deadliest slave revolt in the latter racial group in the U.S. history. The rebellion was effectively suppressed within a few days at Belmont Plantation on the morning of August 23rd, but Turner survived in hiding for more than 30 days after. Widespread fear among white population in the rebellion's aftermath. Militias and mobs killed as many as 120 enslaved people and free African Americans in retaliation. After trials, the Commonwealth of Virginia executed 56 enslaved people accused of participating in the rebellion, including Turner himself. Self-defense is a human right. Many black people who had not participated were also persecuted in the frenzy. Because Turner was educated and a preacher, Southern state legislatures passed new laws prohibiting the education of enslaved people and free blacks, restricting rights of assembly and other civil liberties for free blacks, and requiring white ministers to be present in all worship services. Yeah, Nat Turner Rebellion is probably the most significant uprising in American history. So y'all check on that. Is there, I always ask this, is there a movie, Chris got me laughing. Is there a movie about Nat Turner's Rebellion?
So according to the
here we
Wikipedia
go.
article,
Look.
there is. You say unpopular feature. Yeah, there you go.
Look, The Birth of a Nation, the 2016 film, starring, produced, and directed by Nate Parker, is about Turner's. I had not heard of this.
I wonder if that movie tells what they actually did to him. If y'all don't know,
hope so.
They fucking ate Nat Turner.
God damn.
Like, imagine if they made a movie about John Brown. They'd portray him as a lunatic, radical, crazy guy, like he's always been portrayed in media and in books and things, instead of somebody who saw slavery for what it was and had the moral clarity to do something about it.
Remember, kids, never argue with people John Brown would shoot.
So yeah, right here. The body was dissected and flayed, and the skin used to make souvenir purses.
Oh my goodness.
And
That is the most humane portion of what they did to his body. They gave him the ancient Egypt treatment.
Jesus fucking Christ.
If you don't know,
Monsters.
British people, like the royal family did that shit to most of the Egyptian pharaohs and shit too.
Ugh. What a rich and
white
storied
people
history.
are fucking weird.
It's still weird today. Still fucking weird today. Ooh, Lord. All that inbreeding. On the 22nd, United Farm Workers formed in, I need better glasses, 1966. United Farm Workers of America, commonly known as the United Farm Workers, is a labor union of farm workers in the U.S. It originated from the merger of two workers' rights organizations, National Farm Workers Association by Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta, and Gilbert Padilla, and the Agricultural Workers Organizing Committee led by organizer Larry Itliong. The Allied and Transformed Worker Rights Organizations ended the union as a result of a series of strikes in 1965 when the Filipino American and Mexican American farm workers of the AWOC in Delano, California, initiated a grave strike, and the NFWA went on strike in support. As a result of the commonality in goals and methods, the NFWA and the AWOC formed the United Farm Workers Organizing Committee in August 1966. The organization was accepted in the AFL-CIO in 1972 and changed its name to the United Farm Workers Union. So read more union history here. You can go on and check him out. There he is himself, Cesar Chavez. And yeah, more unions, union power. That's right. And let's see here. Last but not least, Sacco and Vanzetti, Italian American anarchists, executed 1927. Sacco and Vanzetti were Italian immigrants and anarchists who were wrongly convicted of murdering Alessandro Berardelli and Frederick Parmenter, a guard and a paymaster, during the April 15, 1920 armed robbery of the Slater and Merle Shoe Company in Braintree, Massachusetts. 7 years later, they were executed in an electric chair in Charlestown State Prison. After a few hours deliberation on July 14th, the jury convicted Sacco and Vanzetti of first-degree murder, and they were sentenced to death by the trial judge. Anti-Italianism, anti-immigration, and anti-anarchist bias were suspected as having heavily influenced the verdict. A series of appeals followed, funded largely by the private Sacco and Vanzetti Defense Committee. Appeals were based on recanted testimony, conflicting ballistics, prejudicial pretrial statements by the jury foreman, and a confession by an alleged participant in the robbery. All the appeals were denied. By 26, the case had drawn worldwide attention. Sacco and Vanzetti became center of one of the largest causes célèbres. Did I pronounce that right? In modern history. So, yeah. Oh, there we go. And we got any movies by them? No movies about them. It does not appear. And with that, folks, unless y'all got anything that y'all would like to add, that's this week in socialist history.
I got nothing this week.
All right. Well, I think that moves us into why our special guests are all here today. Thank you for indulging us in our weekly segments, and thank you for taking part. And where to start? Jay, do you want to start with some questions, or how we want to run this?
Sure. So how did the idea of the forum come about? Like, how did that happen, and how did all of you come together to work on it?
Oh, should I take this first?
That's you, dog.
That's either or. Yeah.
Well, for my part, the idea came up because we know that Alabama State Democrats generally are broke. They don't have a lot of good resources at hand, right? So went about the route of just kind of better to ask for forgiveness than permission, and reached out to the candidate, said, hey, there's this idea, we would love to have y'all on board. And they were all enthusiastically like, oh yeah, sure, absolutely, would love to do this. Because as we know, there's not good infrastructure to get candidates in front of people here in Alabama, especially on, we're going to call it the left-hand side for the sake of this conversation. Getting those people in front of Alabamians as a whole and using like platforms that Alabamians are on. So, reached out to a couple of people I know, and then they reached out to some people they know, and next thing you know, we had a tree and something to do with it. So yeah, for my part, that's it.
I mean, that's pretty much the whole thing. So he did the whole thing. We just showed up and asked some questions.
Yeah.
So what was the format like? So it was, you posted questions in video form on TikTok, and then they responded with TikTok videos to answer. Is that how it went? I didn't get a chance to watch the debate.
So that came about because what we did was we had a lot of people asking in Discord questions to the candidates. And instead of going through all of those different questions on live, which could take time, we just gave the questions to the candidates and let them answer them on their own time. And that way they could make their own content about it and then push it out, because just like we're having this conversation now that couldn't have happened 20, 30, 40 years ago, there's new ways to reach people and there's new medias about. So not just the debate on live, but also the questions after the fact. We're trying to bridge the gap between your elected official and and you as a regular everyday rank and file member of this country, right? Of this democracy. So that's kind of the point of the questionnaire and stuff, and allowing them to answer their questions.
But like in the moment, the way we set it up was, so we did it obviously on a live, right? And we had like a panel like this, but we broke our questions up to where we would round robin them. We essentially blitzkrieged them with questions at random about different topics, and none of us told each other. Well, we essentially knew the things we were going to ask or the topics, so that we would all have different stuff, but we didn't tell each other like the order we were going to go in or anything like that. So they couldn't know either. And so there was no chance for us to ask, Dakari one thing, and then Wheeler or Kyle Sweetser get the same answer because he just listened to that guy's answer. It was like, no, you're going to have to come up with your own answer to a completely different question on the spot. And you don't know when it's going to be your turn, because we could just ask whoever.
Interesting.
Yeah. And we had, so who were the three? We had Kyle Sweetser. We had who?
Dakari Lariat.
Dakari Lariat, and
Mark Wheeler.
So we had those three.
Those are the three Democratic candidates that have come out and said that they're going to run for U.S. Senate seat in 2026.
And have like legitimately secured some sort of funding and a following, and they're viable candidates.
And they all had, they all introduced themselves, and they all had very compelling stories. If I recall, they all came from, they felt very authentic. You know what I mean? They didn't feel put on. They felt like, as they like to say, somebody you'd have a beer with, right? Like they all had that touch of, being working class folks and coming from working class backgrounds.
Well, at least two of them did.
Is, as the kids would say.
I'm an asshole. Two of them did.
Yeah, so that's the next question is, were there any particularly memorable moments, or which candidates impressed you the most?
I mean, I was impressed Kyle Sweetser could get his head that far up his ass.
What What did he do that has you give such a negative review?
So
Every
So
time one of us asked him a compelling question, he could somehow found a way to spend 2 minutes asking me my exact same fucking question back to me without adding anything or answering it.
Wow, the quintessential politician skill.
I don't sugarcoat. This is why the Democrats don't like me either, because I'm not going to clapping when you don't shit on the floor.
Well, so Kyle Sweetser already comes with strike one to me because he was a Republican 5 minutes ago.
He what was a Republican 5 minutes ago?
Is he still a Republican?
I mean, he's got a D in front of his name now, I think.
Yeah. And he gave us a lot of his positions are very right wing, and he said that he's a conservative, but that he just disagrees with Trump, and so I think we can do better, even though the Democrats in this state are likely to vote for him.
Like, if I have to give you a not me just being me answer, his major issue is he's not running on anything other than, but I don't like Trump. He has no social programs in mind. He has no plan to better Alabama or the country as a whole. He just wants the power because I'm not Trump. Vote for me.
No wonder the Dem leaders like him so much.
I mean,
that
all
was
of
one
them,
of his selling points, right? He went around with Harris on her campaign, didn't he?
Well, he gave a speech at the DNC. He was invited to give a speech at the DNC because for some reason, invited the Republican to come and talk to them because he was against Trump, and they thought that was sufficient.
I'll say the other
You got to
two
be
both
more than
did
against
impress
stuff.
me. Probably Dakari probably impressed me the most out of all three. I'll say there was a couple times where all three of them definitely like dropped a ball on a very easy answer for me, anyways. Like Wheeler, when Wheeler was asked if you do not secure the nomination, would you be willing to pass all of your resources on to the candidates or to the candidate who did secure it? Anything legally that you can pass on to him? And he went, I mean, I guess. Yeah. And I was like, the fuck do you mean you guess?
Yeah.
You can't use it anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I remember hearing that question and thinking like this is an opportunity for them to like basically cross endorse each other and show solidarity.
Show some solidarity. Show some party loyalty.
All you had to do was say yes. You could have, like, I don't want you to lie, but you could have fucking lied. That was a softball question. Will you support the person who has the same fucking goal as you at the end of the day? Or will you be a crybaby bitch about it? Mm-hmm. And it took more than 2 seconds to answer that. And I was like, okay. You had impressed the fuck out of me till 12 seconds ago.
Can I pop in on this one in particular? Well, while I may not have agreed with the answer necessarily, what that did do for me was present like an actual honest answer, like to the bone honesty. Whether I agree with it or not, it was an honest answer.
I'll give you that. I will absolutely concede that point.
Yeah, and so, but my question becomes, why would he answer that way? That's an interesting response. And, I asked him specifically, you don't get to elaborate. I'm regretting that decision now because now I'm curious as to why he answered the way that he did. Because there's always underlying stuff, right?
I would guess that means he would want to keep his funds for another campaign. Is
right, but I don't want to assume personally. I would really like to know what really happened there. Sure. And that's just my own curiosity, I guess.
I mean, I feel like if he had a good answer for that, we all saw the chat. I mean, every single one of us had our eyes glued to the chat when these questions were being answered. That would have been the first thing. If I was him, that legitimately would have been the first thing I'd have made a video about the next day. It was like, hey, just to clarify.
Yeah.
Because until proven otherwise, because like you said, I don't want to assume what his actual aspirations are with the funding or the resources or whatnot. I have to assign the meaning behind it as I'm a sore loser and I don't want to help you win.
Right. No, I get you at face value. Yeah. Not believe me. True. I was watching the chat as well, and I certainly saw the disappointment in the answer. But I'm curious, and you're right. He definitely should have addressed it. Maybe he did. I haven't checked. I know he's
And
gone
I also
live a
think,
couple times,
you know,
but
the way TikTok and social media works, that video might have went up 12 minutes after we ended that, and all of us have just missed it.
right.
So Andy, Lariat impressed you the most? What, Jeff? What about, who were you vibing with or not vibing with on the forum?
Well, I think that all three candidates have their own unique kind of perspective on stuff. And the main thing that I saw with this was that, nobody's going to be as left as what we want to be for like a DSA contender or, a true socialist contender or anything like that. But it'll help us sharpen our teeth in what Alabama responds to, just like we were talking about the chat a few minutes ago. There was several hundred people in that discussion, and when somebody didn't answer the question like what I thought, I would answer the question as, or what you may answer the question as, the chat agreed with my thoughts to a large, number, and that's what I was kind of happy to see more than anything, is that there's still room for left. There's still room to move further left. There's still room for standing hard stance on pro-choice, hard stance on healthcare for all, hard stance on apartheid and the G side going on. There's still a hard stance you can take and have a lot of support by a lot of working class people. That being said, the candidates themselves, hopefully, I've worked with one already, just having conversations and content and getting the voice out there, because it's not my decision, it's not your decision, but we need to get these candidates in front of more Alabama folks, so that way Alabama folks make an informed decision, and Alabama folks get to decide who's at the Capitol, compared to just, we're going to send this person and move on, which is what's happened with the ones that we have now, right? 30% of the population voting instead of 95%. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to get people excited about going to the polls when Republicans run unopposed in more than half the races on the ballot,
Mm-hmm.
and you live in an R+20 district. I think my district, like I live in one of the safest red counties that there are. My house, my state house member is the House Minority Leader. House Majority Leader. And so you may as well be talking to a brick wall, because he's never going to listen to anything that is to the left of hunting the homeless for sport.
Right.
I think on our ballot in November, we had one non-Republican besides the president?
I did. There were two Democrats running on my ballot here in Morgan County, and one of them was Kamala Harris, and the other was the fellow who ran for the state Supreme Court, whose name I've forgotten.
Greg Griffin.
Greg Griffin, thank you.
And the rest was literally like, just pick a Republican. Well, not even pick. I mean, this is just who you're getting, or write somebody in that's not going to win.
Well, like I said, that's what I liked about the conversation that was had, was because it showed that there's effort, there's merit in running. You know what I mean? And we need to be concerned about. We've got three candidates that are stepping up. We need to support one of them, and then the other positions that aren't filled yet, we need to support them. And get your politic in line with helping those folks get elected, right?
Yeah, like, I'm not telling folks to sacrifice your morals, but like at the end of the day, if you withheld your vote in November, I can't tell you couldn't done that. That was within your rights. I can tell you, if you did it to not support a genocide, you indirectly supported a genocide in the future. Like,
yeah, it's definitely.
I hate to be that way, and I hate to break that news to you, but because you chose to stay home, which was your right to do, we're now fucked. Here we are.
I think that's true of people who live in certain states. I don't know if it's true of people who sat out in Alabama.
Morale matters. Never underestimate the power of a bottle of whiskey in a war bag.
That sentiment right there, I cannot agree with that more. Morale matters. I mean, even here on this podcast now, like, what are we doing if not for morale, to get the message out, to lift people up? Yes, morale matters, and it matters a great deal.
Like, be honest with you.
So
we know that our protests in Alabama, at least right now in our current climate, don't legitimately cause a whole lot of change tomorrow, like directly tomorrow. But when I was able to show 2,000 people what was happening in Huntsville, Alabama, it encouraged people in other small towns, in other deep red states. I mean, not that Huntsville's small, but y'all know what I mean, to go do the damn thing in their streets. So when we say, shit, we had however low the number was for Democrat voting in Alabama. If we could have said it was double that, even at a loss, that sounds a lot better. That's a lot smaller hill to climb next time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, I will never sacrifice one of my friends or my belief that they should have the right to live or simply exist for who they are. But I'm not going to sit here and act like waiting on a fucking perfect candidate like the Rapture is ever going to help.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not advocating waiting for a perfect candidate. I don't think anybody would ever agree with me 100%. I mean, I think we should abolish money, for Christ's sake.
Oh,
like,
fuck yes.
Who's going to listen to me on that? I'm tired of going. Yeah.
I think what Australia just put that bill in where a billionaire can only contribute up to $20,000 to a political campaign now, so that they don't ever have to go through what we just went through.
Wow. Australia also has mandatory voting, and prisoners are allowed to vote.
That's fucking incredible.
And
Yeah.
their taxes, they're sent to them on a postcard that they just pay. Yeah, ain't none of this filing, and they got some good stuff down in Australia beyond the barbecues, which I hear ain't too bad. But Al, same kind of question to you. The candidates, did anybody stand out, not stand out, vibe with anybody?
So for me, in my capacity as an organizer and just trying to put this stuff out in front of people, I didn't pick and choose favorites. They all had highlights and they all had terrible failings, right? And each of them are going to appeal to a different demographic and a different audience for different reasons. All in all, it's hard to say exactly, because I ain't trying to traipse on nobody, because, you know, my mission is not to uplift any singular person over the next. It is to build a community. And I'm just proud that we were able to get this together and get it done. And I mean, I understand that answer is not adequate, and I understand that it's not enough.
No,
but
you have your mission, and you have your mission and how you're trying to do things, and I appreciate what you're trying to do. We all have our little ways we going about things, and they all need to be respected, and I certainly respect yours. So it's not a cop out, dog. It's not a cop out at all.
Just like I want to circle back real quick and clarify, I'm not blaming, like, for lack of a better term, tanky leftists who didn't vote for the situation we're in. Like, I can't blame you for a fucking fascist being in the White House. You could have helped at least change morale, but I can't blame you for his actions. Like, that's anybody who goes, it's their fault. I'm like, let me circle you back just a little bit, bud.
No, I think if we put the fault on anybody, we put it on the person running their campaign, because I would bet $1 that if Harris had broken hard against Biden and Palestine, and maybe just said raise the minimum wage, or maybe just one of those two, she could have probably won the election.
Palestine
hands
alone would have
down.
won her that election. Literally one word, like just hey, what Israel's doing is too far. That's all she would have had to say is too far, and it would have won her the election.
Yeah, the early days of
So-
her campaign were so hopeful and were so joyful, and then the Democratic advisors got a hold of her, and they pulled the teeth from her more radical proposals, including her stance against price gouging, which I thought was pretty good, and I remember being excited about. And yeah, kept her from saying anything against Israel's attack on Gaza.
Yeah. So Jeff, you were at the DSA convention, and DSA is now officially an anti-Zionist organization. Were you satisfied with any of the candidates' answers, or not satisfied with regards to Palestine and the Palestinian folks?
So I wasn't there in a delegate capacity. I was there as a social media. And so I didn't listen to all the debating with that. Not that I wasn't interested in it, but I liked the conversation that was being had. And at the end of the day, that groundwork is going to have to be there for us to build a mass movement on this, because if you look at any social change or civil rights action that's been taken over the last, 150 years in this country, it took an organized front to get that. And that's what I'm glad that DSA is doing in the discussion of the Palestinian people and the liberation of Palestine.
Yeah. Well, what about them candidates? Did any of their answers satisfy you?
When you say candidates, you're talking about who
The
exactly?
Democratic form.
He's talking about our thing, Jeff.
Oh, I think that some of their answers were in a way that they didn't want to say what I would say if I was in their position, if I was asked that question. But I don't know if they're concerned with AIPAC money, vice versa, whatever. None of them have taken money. That's a good thing. But their answers were hopeful. It definitely wasn't Israel needs the right to defend itself, which is what at least all Republicans say. If not, slide it off the map completely.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There is. So, and I'll start back with Jeff. What was maybe your favorite thing that any of them said about anything?
There were some discussions about police reform and making sure that we have a society that people can move in freely. That was discussed from Dakari Lariat's position and from Wheeler's position, that Alabama has a policing problem and it has a prison system problem that needs to be addressed, which is much different than we're getting from the state house, which is more money for more prison. So I was happy to hear that from a candidate.
Dakari Lariat has personal experience with police misconduct, and I think that definitely colors his attitude about that issue. But I'm glad to hear that Alabama's prison system is an issue that's near and dear to my heart.
I can tell you all about it, friend. I can tell you all about it.
It's one of my top priorities when I look at what's wrong with the state. Our bursting at the seams, incredibly dangerous prison system is near the top of the list.
You mean the fact that we have the largest slave labor force in America?
Right.
Per capita, at least.
Yeah, I could talk about it for forever.
I think
I was part of it for a little while.
Oh, really? And the death penalty and the other issues, like, yeah, it's a subject I care very deeply about.
Right. And that's what, it was nice to hear candidates, have the discussion at least out loud about it, right? Instead of trying to sweep it under the rug, because you can tell when a candidate doesn't want to speak about something, they're not going to address it if they get into office, right?
Larry
Yeah.
like legitimately had like on hand. This is something he thought about answers. Where Wheeler like had good answers. I feel like I think when I hit Sweetser with my question in that vein is probably the first time he'd ever thought about somebody in prison in his entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Lariat, as Jason was mentioning, when he was up in Michigan living, he was like falsely arrested and all kinds of bullshit.
Right.
Andy, same question to you. What anything in particular jump out to you?
So Jeff actually got mine, so I'm gonna move to my because that was so we all kind of picked like specialty areas to ask questions in, like things we're more knowledgeable in or more passionate about, and like prison reform and police reform. I'm the yeehaw fuck law guy was my big area, but proletariat repair hit them all three of them with the exact same question, and I was honestly surprised that all three of them had the exact same answer, and I was happy about it. He asked him if all of them would be willing to divest themselves of any stock money and any stocks they currently hold, get completely out of speculative markets before they take office. And all three of them were like, yeah, I think honestly, I think Sweetser was the only one that said he currently carried any stock anyways. And he did say he would get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've shat on that dude this whole time, but he impressed me with that one.
And before I forget, because we're not here with the entire crew, I meant to ask this at the beginning, but who all, and then I'll get to Al on what stood out to them. Who all was there that helped with the forum? So we all give everybody a shout out.
Well, that would be myself, Mr. Bartender there, Mr. AlabamaFella, Miss Pixie, Mr. Proletariat Repair, and that was the it and it. And we had some people make up some graphics.
Like there most of the time.
Yeah, Mr. Incrediberry, Mr. Adam, he did show up and he listened and he did drop a question there. But yeah, those are the people that helped with the forum.
Hey, Chris says, "Tell them hoes."
I'm trying.
Yeah.
They get mad at me when I tell them too good.
So Al, for you, did anything pop out for you with any of these candidates on any particular matter?
So as far as what stood out, for me, I asked Sweetser in particular, do you see yourself as a bridge for Republicans to Democrats, right? A reason for them to swap sides, so to speak. And he said yes. Now that was a very bold answer. And that one took me a little off guard. So I'm going to give him that one. Now for Mr. Lariat, I got to hop in with AlabamaFella here. His topic of police reform and prison, he was very passionate about it. You could tell it was very personal, near and dear to the heart. And I mean, I think everybody, even in the audience, was moved by that. And
who cares about the Alabama citizens behind bars? It's a crazy fucking concept.
Indeed. And then going back to something that was, seen as generally unpopular by Mr. Wheeler is actually my favorite response to a question from him. That's what impressed me, is because it was so honest. Will you give, your resources that you legally can to the candidate that secures, the primary? I'll concede. It was an honest answer. But to me, the way I interpreted that was, while I may not agree with it, it's not greased up and BS, right? There was no lie, no dance around. It was just like, I'll concede. Yeah, that was an honest answer. And we need more honesty in our politics. So I appreciated that.
You know what? I'm going to slightly change my perspective on how I feel about that because you said that. I still don't like the answer, but I will give him props for, putting it on the table like
For
that.
not bullshitting, right? For not bullshitting. Like,
I mean, if he had said something like, "Not if it sweets her," I mean, I would respect that.
Oh, I would if he had straight up owned it and been like, no, I would have probably in the moment respected it more than, yeah, I'll concede.
Yeah.
When he said I'll concede, all I heard was Trump being like, I'll leave the White House like the last time, but then immediately walking out the door and being like, stop the steal.
we're gonna have to drag that motherfucker out by his ear or his toupee or whatever the fuck he's got on top of his head. So,
That
all
fork
right.
and red tie.
Yeah.
To
There
be
we
clear,
go.
I am not comparing Wheeler to Trump. It was just a very smarmy answer and took me off guard.
Fair. So let's see here. We got we had questions from the audience. They got emailed to them and they're supposed to be answering those online. Have y'all seen any of that happen as of yet?
Larry has tagged me in 2 of them.
Okay.
Yes. And I know that I've seen Mr. Wheeler go live on TikTok a couple of times, and I believe he was answering some questions in that format and also like engaging with his audience in that facet. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
So what about the chat? How did the chat feel about the candidates? Jeff, you want to start?
Sure. I mean the chat. Look, I said in a speech one time about it's crazy when you come to an event and you see these people that are just little boxes online. They're just little talking bubbles, and they're real people with feelings and all that type of stuff. And I think that we've kind of lost sight of that. And I feel like the chat was that. The chat was definitely a lot of fish eating a big one. Which happens online a lot. The online left and such like that. But what I liked about it, whether or not the chat was eating up the candidates, was that it still again shows that there are people in Alabama that are politically motivated and interested in change for working class folks. And I like that more than anything else, right? So if it exposed some things in candidates that they really need to, if they want to get elected, that they need to address, then that was a perfect opportunity for them to see, like, out of 400 people here, 350 of them feel this way. I probably need to do a little more research on that.
Yeah.
I probably need to come up with a better stance than that.
Chad will make something shake.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to remember, and maybe if one of those candidates does happen to see this and they got their feelings hurt a little bit by Chad, I'm not saying you did. This is me actually encouraging you. You got to remember, especially on TikTok, your average chat member is probably there for like 3 minutes maximum. They have not heard the other 30 minutes worth of talking you've done. So that snap mean ass comment came from their 90-second impression of you. So if they happen to walk in while you were saying something they disagreed with, and this is the first time they've had like, oh shit, this dude's on my cell phone access to you. Well, the internet's a fickle bitch, and unfortunately you felt its fury.
Yeah, it first impressions matter, unfortunately. So you take advantage of them when you can. Al, what'd you think was going on in the chat that stood out to you?
So for me, it was just great to see people actively engaging. And like, the rest of the panel here has acknowledged, it was a lot of like hit and miss with folks, right? Some of them like, interesting. And other people were like, yeah, what? Excuse me? A lot of different attitudes there. But the important part was that it worked. People were engaged. Even if only briefly, people got to see their candidates laid out in front of them, and they interacted with each other, with us as a panel. And that was good. We need more of that and more frequently, because unfortunately, there again, lack of resources, these folks have a hard time getting in front of an audience. And the chat certainly reflected that post forum, because we received a lot of like messages like, hey, thank you so much for putting this on. We appreciate it. Or I didn't know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think chat's response was appropriate and it was healthy for this movement here in Alabama.
That leads me to the next couple kind of questions I got. Like, what do y'all think y'all could have done better, or if you could do it again, what y'all would try to do? And also, what are the next plans? Are we looking at maybe Congressional District 5? I know they got some candidates lined up. Like, what's the next plans to keep this ball rolling?
I guess
I've been starting the question, so I guess I'll start with this one. But definitely been in conversations with other candidates that are running to have, even if they don't have a Democrat that they're running against or an independent, still just getting them up and asking them the questions is a good thing, so they can be exposed to more voters and more voters can be exposed to them. And I don't even like referring to people as voters, folks, Alabamians, right? And this early in the cycle, it's more about finding people that are really motivated to help with the campaign. And so that's what we're trying to do on that, or at least me on that aspect. But as far as doing better goes, we could probably do a little more outreach beforehand, right? Because we had at one time 500 folks in there, but I mean, it'd be better if we had 5,000, right? So just part of it.
Yeah. Growing pains. Andy, what do you think? What do you think y'all could have done better? And how do you feel about like next plans? What you'd like to see as far as
honestly,
continuing the dialogue?
There's not a whole lot of variation I think we're gonna have on the answer here. We did the thing, just we need to promote the thing more, especially for the kind of format we're going for. Like, I think if we try and church it up too much, it'll lose its effectiveness. I think, especially because
y'all certainly didn't church it up. At least I watched the beginning of that. Y'all weren't churching shit up.
So, like, in the age of social media right now, like, there's this massive push for just like authenticity. Like, people don't want to see overproduced bullshit. They want Jeff down there who just picks his phone up and goes, you know what pisses me off about this today? Or, you know what I love about this fucking cool ass city I'm in Spain, how they have these communal spaces? Like, they want that shit. So when we put these candidates out there with one, I would like to find us a more diverse spectrum of people to ask the questions. Cause like, we all have cool followings and all, but 4 white folks from Alabama might not be the most, diverse cast of question askers. But the main thing is we've got to promote it a little bit more and just get more eyes on it. Everything else, I think, will happen just with repetition. I want to do this for as many races as we possibly can. Like, every set of candidates we can possibly get in front of Alabama eyes. And if we can take it outside the state or, hook up other creators from other states to get them the same kind of idea and drive going, be pretty fucking cool.
Definitely, dog. Yeah, I me personally, I want every state to have a socialist podcast that focuses on their state and raising awareness in their state. So I know what you're saying about other folks picking things up and getting them done. Al, what about you? What do you think next steps and what y'all could have done better?
So as far as the next steps go, like, I am already brainstorming some things and trying to improve upon, my last brainstorming session that led to this particular event that we're talking about. So yeah, more is definitely coming, but who and when exactly is still yet to be worked out. And as far as what can be done better, I'll reiterate the points that these other two here have laid out. And I believe that we will improve with practice, right? It's going to be a little clunky, on your first few goes there. But as you get kind of that natural fluid motion between your panelists, you get better, right? It's like coworkers, right? And when you're working together, you get a little better fluid motion going between you the more you work together. But I did want to talk about the diversification of the panel. I've been looking into people who will add to the diversity of the panel because, like Mr. Bartender said, a couple of white dudes, sitting up there asking a bunch of questions. That's not the best look, but we worked with what we have for the first one, and it will continue to get better for so long as we can do this together, because there again, we all have individual lives, we have work schedules and what have you, and we're trying to be respectful of everybody's time and what they do outside of this. So, scheduling permitting, we will do as many of these as we can for as much of Alabama as we can. And yeah, that's it. There will be more.
Awesome. Jason, you got any other questions? I don't want to keep these gentlemen all night, even though I would love to just keep talking shit with them about this whole world that's on fire around us. You got any other questions for anybody?
I guess my last question is, where can I see the debate? Is it on YouTube? Is it online somewhere where I can watch it?
Yeah, it's on. I uploaded it to my YouTube, AlabamaFella, and I think it's in the chat, in the link in the chat. But
So I'm
yeah,
dropping
we
it in the chat. It's also in our show notes.
Yeah, show notes. That's it. But yeah, it's all there, uncut, unedited, raw and real. Alabama folks talking about policies that help the working class.
Are you telling me you didn't put it through Adobe Premiere 27 times and cut a few minutes off of it?
Didn't even, not a filter one, not a nothing. It's just
didn't change the contrast, nothing.
It's got all the blemishes and bumps and hell yes that we said at the real time. The only thing that I wish we would have done different, which I've debated this several times and probably will do the next time or try to, is screen record instead of downloading off of YouTube, because if you screen record, it'll catch all the comments that are being said also.
That would have been real smart.
Yeah, you lose that when you just download it from TikTok. So
because we could have just straight up showed you, like, you want to know how the crowd reacted to this question? It's right here.
Yep. Yeah. And it the chat would be blowing up at certain times when somebody said something, so you could have felt the emotion that was going on in the room at the time. So yeah.
Well, that's y'all, thank y'all so much for what y'all created, what y'all do out there, educating the working class and getting them connected and creating an alternative space for, folks in Alabama to know that it's not just the Manosphere and fucking the Daily Wire or, NBC or what have you, that this is like working class folks trying to make things better for each other, right? So I commend y'all and your partners that helped y'all put that on. So outstanding job. Y'all made history, in my opinion. So, and hopefully the format that y'all introduced, because I haven't seen it before, get spread and some other people decide to take a note from y'all. But I got an announcement. Officially, the North Alabama Democrat Socialists of America this Saturday has endorsed Robert Hunter for House District 28, running against Mac Butler, one of the biggest creeps in Alabama. And yeah, he's officially endorsed, which opens him up to some other things. He wants an endorsement from every DSA chapter in Alabama. And yeah, So we're happy to announce that it was a unanimous decision by our voting body this Saturday at our general meeting, and we might have more folks running. You know anything about that, Jeff?
Do I know anything about more folks running?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna be on a ticket somewhere soon.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Have you made any like permanent decisions yet?
Not yet, but it's. I mean, it's coming. It'll be, of course, it's gonna be something for lower Alabama districts, right? You know, Mobile Bay area. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my name. I'm gonna get my name on something. I might not run to win, but I'm gonna run to challenge the status quo. And they're gonna have to.
That's right.
They're gonna have to push for. They're gonna have to dig deep in their bag of tricks because police brutality is not on the ticket, right? Solidarity is on the ticket, you know. So quit hiring more cops and put that money to the school system. That's where we want to put it at. So, yeah.
Yeah, Andy, you hear any rumblings? Anybody you know or whatnot that are interested in running as a working class candidate for working class policies?
Really, just the folks that we're spotlighting right now. I had thought about it myself, and then I found out that I was not apparently media trained enough for that position. So now I'm just trying to strap a rocket underneath somebody's ass and help them out.
Get in where you fit in, dog.
Just a conversation for off stream.
Duly noted. Al,
Yeah.
you hearing any rumblings about any other working class folks running for working class policies?
Well, new candidates regularly pop up, and we usually find them, in our community. And time will tell, where exactly their policies and platforms land. But as we get closer to, primaries and what have you, there will be a more solid answer. But I would encourage everybody to look on Ballotpedia for your local elections and see who's filed and who's on the ticket and whatnot. They're pretty good about keeping their information current. And don't forget to always check your voter registration, like every 30 days, like clockwork. Keep on top of that stuff because they will roll you off in a heartbeat if they think you ain't looking.
Yeah, and I think you've been nudging folks for local elections coming up this month, right?
Yes, sir. So municipal elections and some special elections are on August 26th. So get out there and do the good work. Let's flip the script. You know what I mean?
Let's turn this some bitch purple.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up. So one last thing, Labor Day is coming up. We're having a big event up here, and there's other events throughout the state. Don't have the flyer yet because I'm not a professional, but don't have the flyer yet. But the plan up here is to do some training on how to form a student union, a worker union, a tenant union, the DSA 101, worker co-ops, and 2 different sessions in the afternoon and then in the evening for folks to learn how to, create collective power, which is what it's all about. So yeah, y'all keep an eye out for September 1st, that Monday. And yeah, would anybody like to say any final words, shout out anything that's going on, anything? Please speak now, forever hold your peace.
Oh, I want to jump in on this before anybody else has the chance. Y'all, go find Mr. Bartender in all the places that you are or want to be and follow him. He's always got a great take on politics, both on a national level and a local level. So please follow him. And also AlabamaFella, like down there in like South Alabama, man's doing good work. So make sure you give him a follow in all the places that you are. And of course, for everybody in North Alabama region, make sure that you follow this podcast. Join your local DSA, no matter where you are in Alabama. Be part of the productive community. Be the change you want to see, and don't back down. Mm-hmm.
That's right. Anybody else?
Just gonna mirror what Alabama Progress there said, but seriously, guys, I go follow Alabama Progress. That's where a lot of the real work is being done. Honestly, AlabamaFella does a whole lot more inside the system than I do. Those guys deserve a lot more recognition than I think they get, and they need the work, and as well as you guys running this here. Thank y'all for putting this on. I tell people all the time, guys, I just yell common sense and obscenities into my phone, and the fact that it lines up with the left is, for lack of a better way of saying it, purely coincidence. Like, I'm just telling people to be good fucking people. The fact that makes me a leftist is just a consequence. It's not the direct action. So thank y'all for making these spaces available and actually putting the work in on the streets in the day to day.
Thank you very much.
I'm kind of stuck being a dad a lot of the time, and
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily as educated on the inner workings of things. So it's much appreciated for the common sense folk like me to have you guys really putting the back end work in.
Oh, yeah.
Like I believe I told you at the protest, like having it where it was, and making the decision for the safety of the people there to have somewhere they couldn't be kill cupped was fucking, like, the people that weren't there in 2020 don't understand how big of a decision that was and how like important that was. And when I showed up, I immediately felt safer and was like, I'm glad I ran into you, because I wanted to shake the hand of the person who decided to give 4 fucking free exits to take in case it went sideways. Because 5 years ago, we had one road, and at the end of that one road was a whole bunch of state troopers. So,
Mhm.
thank you.
Lessons learned. Yeah. And we appreciate you being there. Appreciate you being there. Jeff, you got any last final words before we go on and sign off so y'all can get dinner and hang out with the kids and all that good stuff?
Man, I can't say no more than what's already been done. I appreciate it though, 100%. Like I said, keep doing the work. That's I think that I said this at some point in time in a DSA meeting. I said, well, now that you've been called to action, you can't sit down. You can take a break, but you can't leave.
That's right.
And that's what we got to do. We got to keep at it. No matter how long the road is, you got to keep walking on it.
That's right.
Oh.
Damn straight. Well,
Yeah.
as we like to say around here, folks, all the power to all the people. We the people break our chains together. Solidarity forever, y'all.
Solidarity forever.
Solidarity
Oh,
forever.
there.